Hi everyone, great to see you today. Sorry that we didn't have club last week. I ended up having a training for teachers, but I'm excited to be back to our October Halloween Project Fest today. I thought that it would be cool. I'm actually going to go in and edit this just to update the thumbnail. I got a different, like, spooky Halloween picture. There we go. Halloween week 3. Perfect. Okay, so now we should have a better picture. We should have a better name. Like I said, sorry for missing last week, but we are back making haunted houses, and I couldn't be more excited. Yeah, as always, you can follow along in the coding sandbox. Go ahead and post that link here. And I know last week we made kind of a haunted house. I think this week it would be fun to go inside the haunted house and make different rooms. And there can be like different spooky things to find in each of the rooms if we want. So I'm basically just going to make like a character here, and they're going to explore a haunted house. And that is sort of it for now. I think I might make it like dungeon style with different rooms, but we'll see how far we get in like the 45 minutes we have. Uh, okay, cool. So if you are following along, the first thing I'm going to do is just like make a character. I need something that's going to be exploring the haunted house, and I'm going to write on top for anyone who shows up. Coding a haunted house with JavaScript. Smiley face. So let's start by making a character. So I'm going to go in and just drag in emoji. And that'll be the very first thing I do. This purple background isn't very spooky. I'm actually going to change that as well. We can do movie.color, I think. Yeah, that's like a little bit spookier. Hi, Jamerson. Today we're going to be making another haunted house. Am I a little bit, is my internet coming in and out for you guys? Can you hear me okay? Cool. Yeah, so we're going to be making a haunted house where we can move around, go to the rooms, visit them. Hopefully we can do it so each one sort of opens, like we have a flashlight. But like I said, we'll see how far we get. Okay, awesome. So first I'm going to make my character. Let's see, let's choose an emoji. As always, you can copy an emoji from a site like Get-Emoji. And this is going to be the character that I'm going to be using to actually explore the haunted house. I do like the zombies, although I feel like they should more live in the haunted house than be exploring it. One of these is probably good. Yeah, here you go. She looks like an adventurer. She's going to be my main character. There we go. And then I'm going to move her to the entrance of the house. There we go. Because I'm imagining there's like a door right here. And she looks suitably confused. as to why she would be walking through a spooky haunted house. I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually code like a door here. So go ahead and bring in like a rectangle. And I'm going to just call this door, since that's what it is. You can kind of see it here, although it's super, super dark. I want it to be a door to the outside. So I think I'm going to make it like yellow. Like this is where you came from. This is where hope is. But you are not doing that. You are going deeper into the scary haunted house. Hi, Ria. Welcome. I just posted my code because Ria asked for it, but as always, I encourage you to change it. Kind of use what I'm doing as inspiration. We can work through any tricky parts and debug together. But really make something that like make your haunted house unique. So the rectangle here, if you remember, there's four values getting passed in. My X position, my Y position, my width, and my height. I want it to be a door that she just came from, so I want to move it down here. So the X position would be more like 220, it looks like. Yeah, that's better. And then my Y position needs to be all the way down here, so like 460. That looks okay. There we go, because I only want it to be like a little bit there, right? I don't want it to be taking up so much space. It's probably still too big. Let me move it over a bit more. There we go, and then a little bit thinner, so this is the width. Make that like 100 instead. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, awesome. So now we have this woman entering the house. This door is behind her, her last hope before she enters the haunted house. I don't know. I watched a lot of Blind Manor recently. So I feel like that's where I'm like getting most of my inspiration from. Blind Manor was the house with like I don't know, I don't want to put any spoilers in, but there's a lot of ghosts. So I kind of want to do something like that. I think if I'm remembering Blind Manor correctly, there was like a kitchen right here. There was a staircase up here. We'll make something suitably spooky. So the next thing I want to do is actually be able to control this character, and maybe like give her a flashlight, so she's like actually like holding this flashlight as she walks around. So I'm gonna do that first. I'm just gonna add controls. I'm gonna control her with my arrow keys. I'm also gonna close Slack so that noise doesn't come up, because that noise drives me crazy. So go ahead and drag in your repeat block if you also want to control your character. And feel free to make your character the ghost instead. Like maybe your character is the one haunting people and not the one exploring. That's up to you as well. So the repeat function, if you remember, is any code that gets run over and over again. So if I do want to like make controls, which I do, that's what I'm doing. Actually, wait, no, I don't think I actually need. Okay. So I think I might be lying. I think actually one key down doesn't need to be in repeat, but let's check. So just to make sure this works, I'm going to put it in a log function, and I'm just going to log which key was pressed. All right, awesome. So I was totally lying. Key down does not have to be in a repeat function, but anything else that we want to repeat does. So for now, we'll just have movie.oneKeyDown. If you have a picture, you're going to want to change this to canvas, but both work. So canvas, movie, it does the same thing. But if you're having issues with your code, an easy thing to do can just be to change the word movie to canvas.oneKeyDown. So if you see this here, this is actually logging what VidCode is reading, what JavaScript is reading for these different keys that you're pressing. So I want to use conditionals to actually move my character around when this is pressed. So conditionals are if-else statements. They look like this. If something, then do something. So in this case, I want to say if key, which is the key that's pressed, and the reason it's getting passed in is because of this here. So basically, this is saying when a key is pressed, call this function and pass in whichever key is pressed. Let the function know. So here I'm going to say if key equals arrow up, then I want my character to move up. So this is going to get a little bit confusing kind of quickly. I will copy and paste my movement code in at the end in case you get lost. So here, I'm actually going to change this from emoji to character. Just because I don't think of her as an emoji, I think of her as an explorer. So here I'm going to say, if I press up, I want my character's position to also move up. So what property would I use to edit the position of this character? If I wanted to move her up, what property should I change and what should I do to it? I'm going to pause and wait for people to answer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jamerson's here. He knows all the answers. Jamerson went to a lot of clubs over the summer where we made video games. It was super fun. So here I'm going to say car.y equals its position. So I want it to move based on where it is right now. Plus, let's say, or actually no, I want it to be minus because it's going up. So let's say minus 20. Let's see what that looks like. And cool, that totally works. If it had been plus 20, if I had done that by accident, and I press up, it just would have moved down instead, and she would have probably intelligently left the haunted house. So we have that working. Does that make sense to everyone? So basically what's happening here is that if I press arrow up, then my character's Y position updates to actually move her up. So to do the rest of it, all I would do is say else if. So if this isn't true, check for this next one. Key equals arrow left. And then it all has to take place inside my curly brackets. And I'm going to say I want the X position to be equal to itself. If I want it to move to the left, then that is minus. So minus 20. Let's double check that that works. It does. I'm able to move up and to the left and nowhere else. So to add right, I would just say else if key equals arrow right. And so this equals, you might be a little bit confused. You might be like, why is it 2 equal signs and not 1? When you're comparing things, it's always 2 equal signs. So if I'm saying, is the key that's getting passed in arrow right, it needs to be either 2 or 3 equal signs. We're just going to use 2 here. Don't worry about 3 yet. So here I'm going to say, since left was my character.x minus 20, this is going to be character.x plus 20. There we go. She's moving to the right. Now she can move both left and right. Okay, Chomchi, go ahead and paste your code in. Yeah, we're getting into some more complicated stuff here, for sure. I'm going to try and make it a bit less complicated as we move forward, but I do want to add a flashlight, so I don't know how we're going to make it less complicated. Whenever you start doing moving and like math and angles and stuff, it gets to be so much code so fast. Oh, cool. So Chomchi is giving us their code. So I'm actually going to pause what I'm doing before I have the code to make her go down. And I am going to just hide all of my code here so we can paste in chomp cheese and see what's going on. Chomp cheese, is that all of your code? Okay, awesome. I'll wait. Sounds good. Okay, but there's no more after arrow up. So what could be your problem here is just that you have these open brackets and no closing brackets. So you need to be able to put the different logic in here. So I have to close this. I have to close this and actually put the different logic in here. So I'm actually just going to post the logic that I had so far in, just so everyone has it. I'll do it in pieces as well because YouTube doesn't let me post a lot of code at once. There you go. And there you go. So one thing that you guys might see as an error when you are just copying my code in is your character might be called something different than mine. You might have not changed this variable name. So this variable name, all the things editing it, and this logic actually changing its position all need to match. So if yours is still emoji, this line here for you, car.y, is actually going to have to be emoji.y, emoji.x, emoji.x, because it's going to want to reflect your code and what you called your variable. Like if I tried to instead change this, let's say emoji.x, I'm going to get an error because I never defined that variable anywhere. Okay, so let's let her move down. So here we're going to say else if key equals arrow down. And I am just going to do, it says car not defined. So Chumpty, your code up here is car. Char, I guess. So, so what it might be, looking at the code that you posted, so the other thing that you have to do is make sure that this code where you create your character is above the code that's like this canvas when key down. I'm looking at your code and it looks like you have the door color. All of this code would also have to be above it. Oh, it is. I'm trying to think why else it would say that. I'm not sure. Well, I only saw part of your code before. Can you post it all in from the beginning again? So I can see all of it. I'm just gonna, while I'm waiting for that, just add this. It's just gonna be the same. So if I press arrow down, I'm just gonna want to update the Y position. Yeah, it might be like as small as like a missing. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay, got it. So Chomchi, it's the emoji part. So do you see where you have var emoji equals text and then the person? That's the part that has to be var chr. So where you're editing the different properties, the size, the position, that's all perfect. And it looks like your logic is perfect as well. But var emoji equals text, that has to read instead var chr equals text. No problem. Okay, so now she's moving around the scary house. So then I mean, the next thing I want to do is give her a flashlight. But I feel like we're gonna like get to this whole thing without actually like building the house at all, which like maybe is fine. I might just generate a bunch of ghosts that put their position in automatically. So then the next thing I'm gonna do, let's drag in a triangle to be like my flashlight. So like it's gonna go out like this, and when she turns, my triangle's gonna turn, and it's gonna illuminate the space that I walk around, that she walks around. I am not her. So I'm gonna go in and drag in this triangle. So I'm actually gonna move this door code to the bottom because I don't want to look at it. Then I'm going to go ahead and drag in this triangle code. So triangles are like notoriously difficult to work with. They have so many more points to deal with than like a rectangle or a circle. But it's up here. It's kind of dark. Let me make it bright so we can see it. Oh. There we go. Perfect. I'm actually just going to make it white. I feel like that's like a good flashlight color. I'll make it like off-white. There we go. Like a yellowy. No problem, Chumchi. Let's see. Your code looks good to me. What error message are you getting? Yeah, no problem. So the triangle is going to be, the first position is going to be the x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So it's basically, okay, no problem, Tomchi. Yeah, that could happen. So x1, y1 is going to be the first corner, x2, y2 is going to be the second corner, and x3, y3 is going to be the third corner. So I'm already potentially regretting this because how is it going to follow her around when I turn? We're going to have to use angles, and I think it's going to be fine. I think I'm going to just do it anyway, but we might not get as far as I want to at first. So here, let's go ahead and set the first one to, let's say like 270, 295. Okay, that's like a good first point. And then let's set the second one to, let's say, 392 and 287. What I'm doing here is just hovering over where I think the different points of the triangle should go and just looking on the bottom left to see what comes up. Yeah, it's like 400 and 275. 400, 275. I don't know about this. So then the other one should be here. Let's say 272 and 318. Oh God, I did something wrong. What did I do? So I think this third one is for this point here. So I don't know why it's moving it off. So usually, Chomsky, you're going to get an unrecoverable syntax error if something's missing. So for example, if I missed like this open, like close parenthesis, I'm probably going to get, yeah, an unrecoverable syntax error. and that's because I'm just missing this closed curly brace. So read through your code, make sure it's tabbed correctly, and make sure that every open curly brace has a corresponding closed curly brace. I think the same thing might happen with parentheses. Yep. So if you're missing any parentheses, like if you have an open parenthesis and not a corresponding closed parenthesis, you're going to get that unrecoverable syntax error. So go through and like count them. Okay, awesome. Yay. And I am going to go back to trying to figure out what's going on with this triangle. Okay, so I think this triangle is not moving the way I expect it to. It's like moving relative to itself, which is not how the rest of our shapes work. So that is surprising to me. Like if I move up this point, all the points move up, which isn't normally how I would expect this to work. But I'm just gonna lean into it and we're gonna figure it out. So 295, I want this to be lower. This should be higher. Yeah, this triangle's weird. But I also could just be missing something. But I am just going to play around with it until it looks the way I want it to. Oh no. So this should be moving it to the right. Yeah, so Charles asked, or Jamerson asked, can you move two variables at the same time? Say a circle and text. 100%. So one way is just to put them both in here. So if I did have text here, or let's say I want to move, yeah, this is a terrible idea. I'm just going to do a straight triangle and show you that way. So her flashlight is now a rectangle, and that'll be much easier. So same thing, I'm going to make it, put it in a place that makes sense. And so there's a couple ways that I could move like both her and the rectangle at the same time. Too much. The first is that I could literally just put it in the same like if-else statement. So for the width here, I'm going to say, let's make this like 100 instead. What it was fine. Let me make this like 100 instead. I'm going to call this light. So the first thing I could do is just like copy this and have the light move with it. So now if I move them both up, they'll both move. The other option is to actually, and I just did that by calling this variable name and putting it in this if-else statement. The other option is to save these objects, or save these two elements in an object. And we never got into that too much in Club. But if we wanted to, we could drag in like object constructor. So I could say, I could call this like function like character. And then I'm actually just going to move this information into there instead. So basically what I did here is drag in object constructor. Oh, okay, cool. Then, yeah, we don't have to get into this too much now, but we're already here. I might as well see it through. So then I could say var character equals new character. And so now these two are going to move together. Or they should. I don't know why that's not working. Anyway, that's how you would sort of do it. You could like group them like that. But for now, we can just have them separate. So all I'm doing here is having it so that the flashlight moves around when she moves around. I actually think that's like way too big of a block of light for a flashlight. I'm gonna make it thinner. There we go. Now it's like kind of coming out of her hand. It's like a little bit like a lightsaber. But what are you gonna do? Okay, so now she's exploring the house. And I'm worried about running out of time here, so I think I'm just gonna, instead of like placing things in specific places, just like auto add them and like have it say like ah at random times. Maybe it's like a Disney haunted house. They just mashed everything together. Yeah, so normally I would like build all separate rooms and have them appear as she walks into them. But like I said, we've run out of time. So I'm first gonna just randomly place things, and second, gonna randomly make the word ah and boo appear. So to do that, we're gonna do a few different things. The first is just like make an array of haunted house elements that I can like randomly choose and place around. If you guys remember, arrays are just lists of things. So if I wanted like only these 5 elements to appear, an array is a really good place to store those. So I'm just going to call them haunted objects. And I'm going to say equals open square bracket, close square bracket, semicolon. So then let's go ahead. I'm going to choose like 4 haunted house elements. The first is obviously a ghost. I'm just getting those elements from this site. If you all want to copy and paste your own in as well. And make sure that when you paste emojis in, they're in between these quotation marks. So otherwise, it's not going to work. So first I'm copying the ghost in. This like spooky skull is good. This mask is good. I went to a haunted house once, and it was just one man. It was in a mall. And it was just one guy like holding these like scary doll faces up and like throwing these dolls at us. It was actually quite scary. He had all these like creepy headless dolls, and he would like run through the walls. It was very impressive that one person was able to run an entire haunted house and beat all the ghosts. So I also think I'm going to make spooky floating eyeballs. And that feels like enough. Maybe like a candle as well. Is there a candle emoji? I feel like I've done this I've done so many emoji projects for Club. I should know what all the emojis are at this point. Yeah, this one's kind of cute. There's a candle emoji. Let me find it. Just search on the top. Maybe like a broomstick, like a witchy broomstick. There's like a virus. That's spooky. And then I'm just gonna look up candle because I can't find it. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Chomchi. Perfect. Okay, so now I have all of these haunted objects. So all I want to do is make it so that they randomly place themselves because I don't have time to do it when this project loads. So let's go ahead and just, it doesn't have to be in a repeat loop. It's only going to be once. So for that, instead of a repeat loop, I need like a different kind of loop, like a for loop or a while loop. Just a loop that's going to go through as many times as I tell it to and place elements on the screen. So a for loop is the easiest one and it doesn't break. Like a while loop can have an infinite break kind of easily. So let's go ahead and drag in a for loop here. How many spooky elements do we want on screen? So for those of you who for loops are new for you, they basically it's just telling JavaScript like do something, whatever I tell it to, this many times. So however many elements I want on the screen, I want this loop to repeat that many times and put them randomly on the screen. So I'm going to say 25 times. I want 25 spooky elements on the screen. So I updated just telling it to loop through this and increment I up until it hits 25 and then stop. Then I don't need you anymore. So then I have to pull out a random emoji from haunted objects. So this is my light code, Chomchi. The rectangle is X position, Y position, width. So this number is really small because the width is really small. And then height. Oh, then I'm not sure. I'm actually going to change the opacity as well. Because like a light isn't totally solid. I'm gonna like make it a little bit transparent. I'm not sure. So if this third number isn't making it smaller, you can always try and like actually change it with the properties. So like light.width and then like equals 10. And that'll make it smaller as well. You can like directly edit that width property. Oh. So here, let's see. So what am I going to do? So I need to pull out a random element from haunted objects. I'm just going to write the code to do that because we only have 5 minutes left. And then I'll let you guys have it, but I'll explain it as I do it. Oh, so Chomchi, oftentimes your project will stop updating because you have a bug somewhere else. So it's nothing you're doing wrong. There's probably a bug somewhere else in your code. So scroll through it, see if that blue line is anywhere. And yeah, that's what's going to be causing that. And if you can't find the bug anywhere, I know it's a pain, but just post your code in again, and I'll debug it and find out what's wrong. We can find out what's wrong that way. Actually, I think it should be thinner. So then let's see. So here, I basically want to pull out an object from the haunted objects. I'm going to look through Chomchi's code really quick to find the bug, and then we're going to go back and finish this up. Okay, awesome. So this is all loading for me. So all of your code here is right, Chomchi. So there's something further down that's causing a bug. And you can play around with this by doing what I did here, where I commented out a certain part of the code. If you comment out part of your code and the part above it starts working, that helps you figure out where the bug is. Because if the bug was up here, none of this would have loaded. So that helps you sort of figure out like where to focus on. Oh, so you're also going to want to update this to 0.7. Otherwise, it's between 0 and 1, the amount. Yeah, so go ahead and paste the rest in, and we'll see if we can figure out where your bug is. Oh, it's still, that's funny. It's like saving the character movement. That's hilarious. Okay, so while we're waiting for the rest of Chomchi's code, we'll go in and finish this up. So basically, we want to like var current obj equals, and we want to be able to pull something from the haunted objects text. So we could say like 0, and then I can put in text and say like current obj, and it's going to add it here. So this is how I pull things out of arrays. I call the name of the array, and then I have like a number, the index here, inside these square brackets. So like 1 is going to be my skull, 3 is going to be, or 2, because it starts counting at 0, is going to be my mask, 3 is going to be my eyeball. But once again, I don't want to do this on my own because I'm out of time. I need my computer to do this for me. I need to write a program to automate it. So instead of calling it manually, I'm going to say math.floor, and then, which is just going to round it down, and then math.random, which is going to give me a random number, times haunted objects.length. Okay. So I know that's a lot of code. I'm just going to paste it in for you all. But basically what's happening is math is this built-in library in JavaScript, and I'm saying round down from a random number between 0 and the length of my array, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's giving me any random number between 0 and 6, and it's putting it here. So then I need to use random again, and then one more. Okay, oh my God. So we're out of time. I'll stay a little bit longer, Chomchi, to try and debug your code with you. But that is the for loop. So if I refresh, it'll go randomly. I also wanted to do something where, like I said, it was like saying at random times. If I had more time, I would also make it feel more like they were in rooms. So maybe I would have like the floating eye room. I would also do something where I was like animating all of them so they weren't static. So they were maybe like bobbing up and down. And I would do that with a repeat loop and just like loop through the array of objects. But maybe next week. Maybe I'll keep working on this next week if it's the same crowd. Well, Chomchi, if you would like, yeah, go ahead and just share your code. I just posted my email in the chat. I think that'll be the easiest. And then I can like find your bug and send you like code that's working back. And I can like break it down too, like whatever I ended up changing. Let me see if anyone published anything. No, it doesn't look like it. If you want me to share your code on the live stream, go ahead and publish it, submit it. And I can go ahead and pull it up from our library. I don't even see mine there. That's weird. Oh, interesting, because it does it by when we start coding. Okay, cool. Well, here's, let's see, is this Abby's? So this is Jamerson's. There's no going back, the door is locked. This is awesome. I love that you've made it more of like an adventure game with the comments in the code. You will be playing as a ghost, move around with arrow keys. I think that's incredible, and I'd encourage you when you're feeling good about it to submit it to the gallery. I want more spooky projects there. Cool. Well, thank you all so much. It was great to see you. I'll see you all next week. Chomchi, please send me your code or a link to your project, and I can help figure out what's going on. And